Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare. So settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Oh, dude. Oh.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Okay. Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
Yeah.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, good morning. It's great to see you here on the morning grind. Yes, my lighting probably looks a bit different this morning, but it's because for some reason I was trying to tell Siri to adjust my lighting and turn on the lights, and it was telling me that my lights were not responding and I couldn't change colors and whatever. So, okay, fine, whatever. We're going anyway, so lighting is whatever. Maybe it'll fix itself by tomorrow. But we are going to be continuing to talk about Dark Sun. Kind of a slow Saturday morning here. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm doing with the live stream last night was fantastic. If you didn't watch the Crafter's Corner last night, I basically did a compilation of all of the material that I had on the history of orcs and orcishness and the philosophy of orcs and evil and their nature. And we had a fantastic discussion also in the comments last night. So if you are looking for something to watch and get into about the philosophical situation with orcs, and I thought that, was it James Bacon who was saying it's not talking about our societal relationship with evil, but our societal perception of evil, that would be a great thing to watch. Good morning, Zero the Blade. Zero the Blade, one of our channel members. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of the channel members. Really appreciate your support. Good morning. Forgot that I'm an hour ahead. Well, I was here. I'm coming. Carl Make Stuff says, good morning. Just finished watching part 3 a couple of hours ago. Good to see you here. Hello, Nico. Bonjour. Sable Phoenix is here. And yeah, yes, Daniel says, oh, morning grind dark mode. Yeah, this is like morning grind dark mode. Okay. So I got to come up with what to do with some of the evening streams. Like when it was a great stream yesterday. Some of these streams that go on in the evenings are absolutely fantastic. But they do mean that I get a slow start to the next day. If I start streaming, or when I start streaming some board games, I'm going to have to start much earlier than 7:30 p.m. Central, my time. It's going to have to start earlier because I don't want it running until forever. Time to dive back. Good morning, Robert. Yep, and back into Athos. So, all right, let's pull that up. So here is what we were looking at, and one of the next big section. We'll take a look at the table of contents up here. This is the book that's called The Wanderer's Journal, and we were looking at the world of Athos and Athasian society. I don't really see a whole lot of point in going through the geography. I mean, we can, but the world itself, the society of the world, I think that was kind of got the understanding of what the world was supposed to be and what the world is. And probably if we're looking for things that might not be things that Wizards of the Coast might not want to engage with today. I don't know that's in the geography section. It's probably in the a society section. So we've got Athasian geography, and then the Atlas of the Tyr region specifically, and then we've got monsters of Athos. So I kind of wanted to take a look here with the monsters and just see what different monsters we had. And then there is another book on the rules, and we do look at RPG rules and stuff. So I wanted to go over there and take a look at that today, tomorrow, whenever it is. And then also we'll need to look at Psionics at some point. And I think that would give us a pretty good understanding of this whole world. Nico, I saw that. I guess I should put that over there on the Discord server. I saw this morning when I just looked that they were there briefly. But yes, in the Crafter's Corner section, and we could even break that out as a thread because some people have said they were interested in further discussion on the nature of orcs and evil. Let me put in a Ravenkeep Discord server link. Hey, Last Phoenix, your morning show is my evening. Can't catch your evening because it's the middle of the night for me. Well, there's the replay. When we get on a really good topic, there is always the replay. And last night was a really great one. We've had some really great conversations with people on the Crafter's Corner live stream. Let's see. Hey, I do have some more material still coming out on one of the things we're doing over here is we're taking a look at world building through a variety of different means. And one of the things that we're looking at is the Black Cipher. So, Black Cipher channel. Have some more shorts on alien abductions coming out today over on the Black Cipher channel. And I'm also going to experiment and worry with. I'm going to work with doing some Black Cipher YouTube channel. So check that out. That is the world of sci-fi horror we've got going on. I'm going to be posting some shorts today on the channel. I experimented with posting a short on this channel yesterday evening. I think I'm going to try experimenting with posting a few more today. See what happens with that. Oh, I didn't hit there we go. There's the link to the Black Cipher. Carl says, Black Cipher looks dope. Need to catch up on that. So I've got basically 4 worlds that I'm putting out on YouTube. They're all in various different stages of development. And we're going to see which one people like and which one people respond to most. So the Black Cipher is one of them. That's alien paranormal horror. We'll have the Unspeakable Cults, which I might work with today after I work on some shorts over here. And then the Unspeakable Cults, that's the Cthulhu mythos, more like fantasy. And then we've got Theophany for the fall of Satan, the story that will tell the story of the fall of Satan. And then we've got the Tales of Rabithania, which I've got. It's going to take the most work as far as art goes, because I think I'm going to have to train custom AI models on that. And I was reading about how to do that this morning, but I'm going to have to actually get in and do it. All right, what type of monsters do we have here in Athos? Life is a mysterious and resilient thing. Even in the starkest wastes of Athos, the careful observer finds it clinging to the horns of sand dunes, peeking out from beneath the wind-raked boulders, and creeping along the cracked plains of sun-baked clay. To survive, almost every form of life has become a monster. On the increasingly infertile world of Athos, these adaptations have taken an almost diabolical turn. The land is so barren that every form of life, to one extent or another, is both predator and prey. Some of the more notable of these creatures are described on the following pages. Over the course of the next few pages, you will learn a little about the most common, interesting, or dangerous creatures I have encountered in my travels. Again, I must caution the would-be adventurer that even the most passive beast or sweetest flower is often deadly on Athos. So here are domestic animals. And by the way, so I didn't know what that word was. So that is a creature here in Athos, the Erdless. Flightless, featherless birds covered with flaky gray to red scales. They weigh as much as 200 pounds and stand up to 7 feet tall. They make ideal herd animals as they can eat many forms of tough vegetation as well as snakes, lizards, and other small reptiles. They instinctively band together in flocks for protection. When threatened, their first impulse is to flee. If this is not possible, the entire flock will return and give battle as a group. When they fight, they strike their attackers with their sharp beaks and then rake at them with their claws. Erdlu eggs are excellent sources of food containing all the nutrients that a human or demi-human needs to survive for months at a time. If eaten raw, they can substitute for water 1 gallon per egg for periods of up to 1 week. In addition, the hard scales of their wings make excellent armor or shields. AC6. Their beaks can be used to make fine spearheads, and their claws are often crafted into daggers or tools. So that's one way they handle the absence of metal. Good morning, Micah. Good to see you. Welcome. This is one of those giant lizards they use for their caravans. Mechalots. I don't know how to pronounce that. I guess I would pronounce that Mechalot. Are mighty lizard beasts weighing up to 6 tons with huge mound-shaped bodies as long as 30 feet. And they're used as carrying beasts. In fights, Mechalots attack with their long tongue, striking for 1d6 damage. On the roll of a natural 20, the tongue grasps the victim and tries to draw him into his mouth. He must save versus paralyzation to avoid being swallowed or slowly killed by the great beast's digestive system. Swallowed individuals are helpless to employ any form of attack other than psionics on the malachite that consumed them. Malachites protect their vulnerable undersides by instinctively dropping to their bellies when anything crawls beneath them. This causes 1d12 points of damage to the creature when they drop upon drop, and may injure the malachite depending on what it is trying to flatten. So this is the Belgoi, lawful evil. At first sight, the Belgoi appear human. Then you notice the long claws at the end of their fingers, their puckered, toothless mouths, and their webbed, three-toed feet. They are a race of ignorant demi-humans who dwell in the most forlorn wastes of Athos. They have a taste for flesh of intelligent races, and no ruler will tolerate them within 5 days' travel of his city. So these are raiding tribes. They form raiding tribes. Braxat. Didn't we go through this geopolitically? Oh, Braxat. Okay, Braxat. Okay, so that's a bit different. So this is a neutral evil creature, solitary carnivore. It's difficult to tell whether the Braxat are of mammalian or reptilian stock. Their backs are covered with thick, articulated shells. Their heads have a squarish lizard shape, giving them a reptilian appearance, and the crowns of their heads are defended by 3 to 5 horny protrusions. At the same time, they walk upright on 2 feet, can speak with a human-like voice, have fully opposable thumb, and are warm-blooded. They're terrors of the desert, usually attacking at night in search of fresh meat. Although they will eat caravan mounts on occasion, with the exception of kanks, they prefer intelligent races. You can also make shields and armor out of their scales. Because of this, they are sometimes hunted by AC2. And remember, in this game, AC, the lower the AC would have been better. Because of the power of the Braxat, some hunters will find the tables turned upon them and end up as the targets of deadly ambushes. Good morning, George. Good to see you. Oh, the dragon. So is this the dragon? Frequency unique. So we were told there was only one giant dragon, or one dragon that's fully developed. So this is it, the dragon of Tyr. Let's see. This must be all of our psionic stuff up here, as well as defiler spells down here. Fortunately, yep, there's only one dragon in the Tyr region, and perhaps the entire world of Athos. It is tall and thin, with a gnarled bone structure and swollen bulbous joints. Its appearance is reptilian in many ways. It has a long snake-like neck, whip-like tail, and scaly hide. Yet it walks upon two legs. Its hands have long, well-developed fingers and thumbs. Its bone structure seems faintly humanoid, and its head is long and narrow, with a distinctly mammalian appearance. This is different. Let's see what it is in combat. So the dragon is a terror in combat. It can attack simultaneously with its massive claws for 2d10 plus 15 damage, its fang-filled mouth 4d12, and its whip-like tail 5d10. In addition to its melee attacks, the dragon can use one psionic power and cast one magical spell per round. For the purposes of determining psionic power and spell effects, it is treated as a 20th level psionicist and a 20th level defiler. The dragon's saving throw numbers are always 2. Is that to save against it, or to save for it to save? Yep, the dragon. Is it flightless? Let's see. Does it have like a movement? So FL45. I don't remember all this code. Movement 15. We've got FL45A. Is that a flight speed, like a Class A flyer? I don't know what JP maybe jump. What is BR? It's got a Thaco of -3 and 250 hit points. Yeah, though it does look wingless in this art. For it to save, it's very difficult for it to fail. So if you're supposed to roll, okay, so you're supposed to roll that number or above, right? So that's why that would be a great saving throw in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, because the lower the saving throw, the better. BR is probably Burrow, the last Phoenix says. Carl says, goodness, it's been a while. Forgot there were flight classes. I only vaguely remember it. 3 times a day, the dragon can breathe a cone of superheated sand during a round instead of using its psionic powers and casting a spell. The cone is 5 feet wide at the base, 50 feet long, and 100 feet in diameter at its far end. The cone does 25 d12 of damage, which is treated as both heat and abrasive damage. The dragon can be hit only by +2 or better magical weapons. If these are not made of metal, the dragon suffers only 1/2 damage from the attack. Each round, the dragon automatically regenerates 10 HP. The dragon has 80% magical resistance to all spells cast against it. The dragon usually attacks like a hunter, first stalking and then chasing down its prey. Next, if its opponent consists of a large group of individuals, it attacks with its death field psionic power. But if the opponent is only a handful of individuals, it attacks them individually with life-draining powers. The dragon uses its breath weapon only as a last resort, for it is so destructive that nothing usually remains of any prey that it hits. Habitat and society. The dragon wanders all over all parts of Athos, usually alone. Occasionally, it visits a sorcerer king, leaving disaster and chaos in its wake. Well, that does look pretty bad. JP is its knowledge of Japanese language. Nico says, interesting that Dark Sun has intelligent dragons. This one aspect is closer to a more traditional fairy tale than many modern fantasy sci-fis. Many make them like animals. What would an animal want with a hoard of gold? Yeah, does this have a horde? We've got XP value, magic resistance. Doesn't really talk too much about that, though. It's interesting, this kind of a self-made too kind of thing. In North Mist, the dragon is a man or dwarf changed by greed. So that is different, yeah. Different from both Dark Sun and different from just dragons in general. I wanted to know more about it because it says there's only one of these things. So I actually wanted some more information other than this. Yeah, the combat stuff is interesting, but I kind of wanted to know more about why it exists or what it does. Because it does say occasionally it visits the Sorcerer King, leaving disaster and chaos in its wake. I kind of wanted to hear about that. Maybe it's in some other book. The Dune Freak. Uncommon small tribes, neutral evil. The Anacore are a race of dim-witted humanoids with bony, wedge-like heads, small ears pressed close to the sides of their heads, and sunken, beady eyes covered by clear membranes to prevent sand from scratching these delicate tissues. The bright sun of Athas' sun blinds the Anacore during the day, but at night they can see as clearly as most beings do during the day. The Anacore do not have infravision, however. They do not see body heat. In complete darkness, they are as blind as any human, but if there is even the tiniest amount of light, such as from stars, they see very well. The Anacore have an unusual dorsal ridge running along their spine. This fin is actually a sensitive organ which picks up minute vibrations traveling through sand. With it, they can locate a solitary creature walking on the sand from as far as 5 miles. So they live within a sandy heap, such as sand dunes or the alluvial fans at the mouth of canyons. Normally, they travel and hunt in small packs with 2 to 12 individuals, with the largest acting as a leader. Gaj, another neutral evil kind of creature. The last Phoenix says, well, Dune Freak is a bit offensive. Hey, James. Good morning. Good to see you. James is one of our channel members. And again, really appreciate everybody who is a member of the channel. Treasure type H. Oh, actually, I remember treasure type. Where did I see that? Treasure type H right up here. Yeah. So the dragon is treasure type H. I forget exactly what that means exactly. But I guess that's a good one. Well, I guess, I'm actually kind of curious. So we used to have treasure types. No. Nope. Of course, they were out of order. So what exactly does treasure type H mean? Probably have to roll for that someplace. Let me see. See if I can find it easily. QRS. Treasure types. Page 180. So we do have a table of treasure types here. It's kind of not easy to see with my lights not working today. Treasure type. So layer treasures. Yeah, that would give us a lot of gold. So this actually only goes up to treasure type I. Well, no, there are individual and small layer treasures that go to Z. But it seems like mainly our layer treasure types are A through I. So H does have a lot of treasure. let me see here. No, planes. To use table 84, first find the letter given under the monster listing. On that row, the column then lists the percentage chance of a particular type of treasure appearing and the size range for that particular type. Treasures with no percentage listed are automatically present. Either choose to have that particular treasure present and in the amount, or roll randomly to determine the result. The first part of the table, letters A through I, lists the treasures that are found in layers only. They are sizable treasures accumulated by social creatures. So, yes, this dragon is intended to have a major hoard of stuff in its lair. So, he would have a 25% chance of having 3,000 to 18,000 copper coins. A 40% chance of having, so I suppose you roll for each one of these different types. There's a 40% chance there will also be 2,000 to 20,000 silver coins, a 55% chance that there will be gold coins, and that number is also 2,000 to 20,000 gold coins. The platinum or electrum, there's a 40% chance of having between 1,000 and 8,000 of those. There's a 50% chance of having between 3 and 30 gems, a 50% chance of having between 2 and 20 objects of art, and then a 15% chance of having any 6 magic items. So, yes, that is a major treasure find. Good morning, Andrew. First time catching a Saturday grind. Your work ethic is most admirable. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I still feel like there are a lot of things that are not happening and not getting done, but I'm working on it. Nate Jones, welcome. Nate says, look up the cover from the Valley of Dust and Fire. That shows the full dragon of Tyr. Valley of Dust and Fire? Images. Oh. Okay, it's clearly winged in this. Yeah, it kind of looks like you can't really see it too well in this picture. But if you look up the Valley of Dust and Fire. So we do have a red dragon, kind of demonic hellscape looking dragon with wings. So we do have that. Robert says, intelligent monsters are tougher to defeat, but when evil characters and villains have a complex set of attitudes, it's more interesting. Stan Lee said a villain is a hero with in his own mind. Considering that Athos is metal poor, that horde would be more valuable by several degrees of magnitude. Oh, yeah, you're right. So, yeah, that's kind of assuming a standard level of, or your typical Dungeons & Dragons fantasy level of suitability of a monster horde. But you're right. All that copper, silver, platinum, yeah, that would be an extreme find. Excellent point. So what was up with this Gage here? The Gage is a psionic horror. Physically, it appears as large as reptiles, resembling a beetle in appearance. Its body is covered by a scaly, rust-orange shell about 6 feet in diameter. From beneath the shell protrude 6 four-jointed legs, which ends in webbed feet with long, sharp claws. Its head is a spongy white globe about 2 feet in diameter. Spaced at even intervals around the head are 6 compound eyes. A pair of barbed mandibles as long as a man's arms flank 6 finger-like appendages that hang over its mouth, and 3 feathery stalks rise from the top of its head. That is a crazy-sounding thing. Beetle-like, scaly, 6 feet, 4-jointed legs. They are solitary hunters that prey on other intelligent life forms. They prefer to live in rocky areas where their shells serve as camouflage, or in sandy areas where they can hide themselves from predators in a shallow burrow. Most often they are found alone, but occasionally mated pairs are encountered. I do miss that when we actually had more information like this. Like I said, I wanted more information on the dragon. But, we've gotten very text light in like the 5th edition monster manual. There's a whole lot of art, and there is a little bit of explanatory stuff and their stats. But I always liked when we have like habitat and society, ecology, information on combat, and more. I always liked having more information on the monsters. But we've gotten more art focused and less text focus, I suppose, in many different things over the years, including this. Nate says the dragon pictured there is a level 23 dragon, like on the cover of the Dragon King supplement. Hey, good morning, Jason. The Dragon of Tyr is level 30. Oh yeah, this is the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Dark Sun book, so we're definitely in the realm of Thaco. Giant, Athesian giant. So we do have half giants that were created. We got the Athesian giant here. Alignment varies by individual. Humanoid giants are not capable of employing psionic powers because of their huge brain mass. Because of their huge brain mass, humanoid giants are resistant to all forms of psionics. When any form of psionics is used against them, they are allowed to save or spell to negate it. In addition to psionic combat, they are treated as if they have all 5 defense modes. That must be something from psionics. We'll have to look at that. Many beast-headed giants aren't intelligent enough to make good psionics, however. Although they lack the general immunity to psionics that their humanoid cousins possess, they have the following statistics. Their disciples, sciences, and devotions are too wildly to make their disciplines, sciences, and devotions are too widely to make decisions generalizing possible, or forget it. We'll forget that sentence. Give up on that sentence. Anyway, so Athesian giants come in only 2 basic varieties, humanoid and beast-headed. Humanoid giants resemble massive humans standing between 20 and 30 feet tall and weighing between 4 and 8 tons. They have exaggerated and sometimes comical features, such as huge noses, ears, mouths, and so forth. Their skin is usually dark red to black in color, and their hair is coarse and sturdy. Giant hair ropes are the best on Athos. Ooh, giant hair rope. Ooh. Most humanoid giants have a strength score of 25. Whereas beast-headed giants resemble humanoid giants in many respects, save they are slightly smaller, 15 to 20 feet tall, and in place of the head of a man or woman, they have the head of some beast, and their skin is usually extremely pale color like pink or alabaster. Beast-headed giants are rarely seen in the tablelands, for they are just short enough to make wading through the Sea of Silt hazardous for their safety. Generally, humanoid giants are only destructive when they want something or when the stranger has landed on their island uninvited. Oh, Geth. Now, I always thought these guys were underused. This is the same as the Gethanki, right? If I'm pronouncing that right. I only remember encountering them once. Hang on, let me go check. Where's my PHB? I remember seeing them in the monster manual and thinking they were underused. And then eventually there was one game that we were playing through, some kind of module, and then we did encounter them. Because they're from the astral plane, or the ones I remember were like from the astral plane. Yeah. Geth Yankee are the ancient race descended from humans. They dwell upon the astral plane, but will often leave that plane to make war upon other races. They are engaged in a lengthy war with the Gethirzi. Oh, no, I got Geth over here. No, apparently this is different. So, yes. So, the monster manual has a separate entry for Geth and Gethanki. So, these are different. You guys are probably telling me that in the comments already. Nico says, there's something quite strange about RPGs such as this. Everything is laid out like a dictionary. It's all about classification. Monsters don't often have proper names, but common ones. They're not monsters like the Sphinx, but more like Darwinian species. This is a huge thing that often goes unnoticed. Notice the use of habitat and ecology. So the last Phoenix says, those are original Githyanki and Githirzi. So, yeah, so Geth are a devolved non-planar version. They're more of an orc-type monster here. Sable Phoenix says, they appeared here in Dark Sun first, then were included in the wider lore of Planescape. And we do need to look at Planescape later. George says, Fiend Folio was TSR's first delve into OP. We called it Monty Hall in the 1980s. The Geth are the parent race of the Githyanki and Githzerai. They split after they were enslaved by mind flayers and escaped. Okay, so we got two sub-races. Well, that's interesting. So there's more lore into that than I ever thought. Gith, Pirate, Githyanki, Githirzi. All right, I'll have to look more into that. But so here we have Geth here. So this is a chaotic evil individual. We've got psionics stuff. Oh, it does say psionics summary up there, so that's definitely psionic stuff. The Geth are a race of grotesque humanoids that appear to be a particular mixture of elf and reptile. They're extremely gaunt and lanky, with long gangling arms and spindly legs. Their hands have 3 fingers with no opposable thumb, yet they're able to use tools and wield weapons. Both their fingers and toes end in sharp claws. If you could get a Geth to stand up straight, he would measure close to 7 feet tall. However, most Geth appear to be no more than 5 feet tall, for they stand hunched over at the shoulders, as we are seeing over here. Combat. If possible, the Geth attack in mass, usually starting with a psionic attack from one of their leaders. Then the entire party moves in quickly to melee. They often accomplish this by springing up 20 feet with one giant leap to close on their enemies. When employing the spring, it gives them +2 Thako bonus on the first round of combat. The Geth are generally armed with large, wicked-looking spears with giant razor-sharp heads of obsidian. 1d6 -1 damage. Although these spears look like thrusting weapons, they are primarily used to slash or chop. The Geth often armor themselves, especially their vulnerable backs, with Onyx shell armor, AC 6. The Geth live in tribal organizations. The individuals with small, powerful psionics usually act as their leader. All other social positions are distributed at his pleasure. For every 25 Geth, there will be a 5 HD leader. Oh, yeah, I remember all of this, too. Like, exactly, like, what's your composition of your war party? You've talked about that. In fact, I even went over that in last night's discussion of orcs and orcishness in the part of the video where we basically went through the timeline of orcs, because something like the Monster Manual talked a lot about what kind of weapons the orcs are armed with, what their tribe is composed of, how many leaders you'll find, how many lieutenants and so forth, sub-chiefs and everything like that. So this is reminiscent of that, or comes from that same kind of thought here. For every 25 Geth, there will be a 5 HD leader. For every 50, a 6 HD leader, and for every tribe of 100 or more, a 7 HD leader. In addition to having hit points and Thako numbers appropriate to their HD, these leaders will have psionic powers approximately equal to a psionicist of an equivalent level. Mountain Geth live in underground layers, claiming a particular canyon or valley as their territory. Geth inhabiting the tablelands tend to organize their society much more along lines of a nomadic hunting clan, going wherever the game takes them. They do not hesitate to attack humans or demi-human groups. Githyanki are evil and the Githzari are good. They're at war with one another. Is that why they're at war? Frank says, I agree. I think the Geth are likely a group that got stranded on Athos when it was cut off from the outer planes. We have the Jozal, an omnivore, chaotic neutral. Psionic abilities here. Standing at about 4 feet tall, the Jahal is a small two-legged reptile with a skinny tail, a long flexible neck, and a narrow, elongated snout. Its mouth is filled with needle-sharp teeth, and its lanky arms end in small three-fingered hands with an opposable thumb. Although the Jahal's hide is covered with scales, they are so small as to be unnoticeable at first, and this appears to be more akin to a man's skin or a Brazarag's tough hide. The Jozal can change the hue of its skin at will, either to match the color of its environment or to stand out against it. Silkworm, also psionic. A silkworm is a snake with a hard, chitinous shell with it measures over 50 feet in length. They are commonly seen flying through the air during the days in search of prey. Flying. Yeah, so I guess that's Flight 12, Class C. They're commonly seen flying through the air during the day searching for prey, but rarely attack until dusk when they assume their shadow form and sneak into a camp to attack. Any creature bitten by a silkworm must save versus poison or be paralyzed for 1d4 days. A restore or remove curse will reverse this effect. Psionic powers can still be used while in this state as long as the body itself is not required to move. The silkworms will drag its paralyzed prey away and encase it in the sheath of silk, inside which the unfortunate victim will linger up to 2 weeks. During this time, the silkworm will occasionally stick its head into the protective cocoon and bite its victim's neck, draining a little bit of blood and paralyzing him for another 1d4 days. Each time this occurs, the victim loses 1 point of constitution. When this constitution reaches 0, all of his blood has been drained and he dies. The silk casing manufactured by the silkworm is valued in many cities for use in expensive clothing. It's flame resistant, +4 bonus on any save versus normal fire, +2 bonus against magical fires, and very tough. Cutting a captured victim free can be quite time consuming. Do they fly with psionic power? We'll have to study that more, especially when it comes to Planescape. Tembo. The Tembo are despicable, furless, tawny-colored beasts covered with loose folds of scaly hide, varying between 3 and 6 feet in length. They usually stand as high as a man's thigh. All 4 of their lithe feet and long, sharp claws, the huge canine fangs protrude from beneath the flappy lips of their squarish snouts. The Tembo has a huge squarish ears which can turn in any direction independently of one another. I thought we were about to go. So that is actually all of the monsters that we've got here. I thought we were about to go into the Complete Psionics Handbook. I thought maybe it had been appended to it or something, but no, we don't. We do have Complete Psionics Handbook, so that must have been published first. It would make sense since this references it so much. But we do have some errata and clarifications for the Psionics Handbook. Huh. Well, let's go over and take a look at the other book. We've got enough time this morning. Like I said, if you're wondering, if you're just coming in and you see that the lighting here is different. Yeah, for some reason, my light bulbs went offline today and Siri wasn't able to get them started and get the right colors, but whatever. So let's see what's inside the Dark Sun rulebook. Let me find it. So we were just looking. So there were player aid cards in the box, a Dungeon Master's book. That looks like, that Dungeon Master's book kind of looks like an adventure. Yeah, it looks like what it's calling the Dungeon Master's book is an adventure. Book 3 looks like a story here. Well, but it does have some monsters in the back. Okay, rules book. Here we go. Book 4, rules book. Good morning, Zero Theory. Nate Jones says, this takes me back. I ran Dark Sun back then for years. Probably my favorite D&D setting. There's a lot of people here who have really been enjoying it. Frank B says, did you get to the problematic parts yet? Maybe. I think during the society side of things, we may have found the kinds of things that they were talking about. But then again, we didn't really consider them all that problematic. We talked a lot about that yesterday and the day before. Maybe I should do a short about that while I'm experimenting with that today. So what kind of stuff is in the rules book here for Dark Sun? Ability scores. Ability scores, player character races, player character classes, alignment, proficiencies, money and equipment, magic, experience, combat, treasure, encounters, NPCs, vision and light, time and movement, and new spells. That basically sounds like this is an entire PHB. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we talked about the Mool a fair bit. The origins of the Mool is probably one of the darkest and most disturbing things. Let's just say they don't shy away from what slavery is in a fantasy world would mean. Yeah, we talked about them. Carl says they don't, but then again, they don't glorify it either. But, you know, if that's it, okay, so if that's it, and of course we don't know, but if, for example, that was it, how difficult would it be to just, if you were re-releasing that setting, just to not mention that? Like, I don't think you would have to go through all of the hemming and hawing about, oh my God, this problematic material in it and whatever. I think you would just, maybe we just don't want to have that anymore. And so just drop it. I mean, so if that's it, it just seems like something that could be dropped and not having, like, the solution seems simple. So, yeah, Carl says, just pointing out that thing exists should not be problematic, whatever that means. It's not that problematic, Nate says. The setting has slavery and genocide, but it doesn't glorify it. The slavery is very ancient Roman world empire type of slavery, not focused on race, etc. So, okay, so this does like we got ability scores over here and how to roll ability scores. So this is interesting. So was this not expecting or not thinking that, or did this not require the PHB? Was this basically a standalone game? That's interesting. I don't remember that for Forgotten Realms. Like I had I've got the Forgotten Realms box over there. We had the Forgotten Realms box. I didn't have it, but we had it in our gaming group. And I don't remember the Forgotten Realms box trying to be like a complete standalone rule set, but maybe Dark Sun is doing that. So, okay, so how to generate ability scores? Well, it does reference the player's handbook here. Because of this, the number of languages column on the intelligence table in the player's handbook translates directly into additional proficiency slots. Minimum and maximum ability scores. So we've got racial ability requirements. I guess this is so for Dark Sun characters, use the racial ability requirements given here. If a character's ability scores fit all of these requirements, the character may choose that race. This was such a different way of doing things. Roll your scores, and then if your scores happen to fit within some range, then that tells you what race you can be. So we've got dwarf, elf, half giant, halfling, mool, and thri-kreen. I guess those are our player options. Racial ability adjustments. Some races are naturally stronger or weaker or less agile than others. These and similar differences are accounted for with modifiers to their generated ability score. These modifiers are applied exactly as described in the player's handbook. No adjustment can raise a score above 24 or lower it below 3. So the Mool, for instance, has +2 strength, +1 constitution, -1 intelligence, -2 charisma. Dwarf elf. What's thri-kreen? The thri-kreen is +2 dexterity, +1 wisdom, -1 intelligence, -2 charisma. It used different rules for character generation. The overall game is still D&D. Okay, so Paul says not standalone. It's just that its stats are rolled differently. Ability score generation with these rules make for higher starting abilities. So we got 3 different methods. When rolling ability scores for player and non-player characters, use these methods. 4d6 plus 4. Oh, 4d6 plus 4. 6 times. Once for each ability score in order. No, 4d4. Excuse me, not 4d6. 4d4. 4d4 plus 4. I thought 4d6 plus 4. That would be, 4d4 plus 4. Rolling non-player characters scores. Roll 5d4 6 times, 1 for each ability score in order. The totals rolled or written down or re-rolled. Okay, so these are optional ones over here are just for non-player character generation. So you are supposed to roll 4d4 plus 4 6 times straight down. Racial class and level limits. It's back when we had racial class and level limits. U says it's unlimited. And if it's got a dash here, you cannot belong to that class. So, for instance, a dwarf cannot be a preserver or illusionist, druid, defiler, or bard. Humans can do it all. Elves can't be... Oh, an elf cannot be a druid or a bard. So here are dwarves. Nate says the setting is post-apocalyptic and sword and sorcery. Slavery is found in those settings. Look at Mad Max and Conan. So, okay, so dwarves here, elves. Half-elves. Half-giants. Enormous individual standing between 10 and 12 feet tall and weighing in the neighborhood of 1,600 pounds. What does it say about role-playing them? Half-giants are friendly and eager to please those who they meet. Others who accept them will find that half-giants quickly adopt the lifestyles and skills, even their values. A half-giant character who is presented with a new situation should examine the roles of the people there, determine where he might best fit in, and start performing the tasks necessary. Halflings. Oh, there's some crazy-looking halflings right there. Halflings are very comfortable when within their own groups, while not afraid to venture on their own with other races. They tend to have a difficult time adjusting to other customs and points of view. However, being generally open-minded rather than becoming abrasive and combative, halflings tend to be curious and at times utterly confused by the behavior of others. Here we have human. Here is the mule. Let's see what it says about them, since this has come up so often. Could elves be druids even in D&D? AD&D? Yeah, that illustration of the elf running is something else. Nate says Dark Sun is more gladiator than King Arthur. Mad Maxlings? The free city of Tyr starts the campaign by overthrowing their sorcerer king and freeing their slaves. The rebellion against the sorcerer king sets out to abolish slavery. So the mule here is an incredibly tough crossbreed of a human and dwarf. They retain the height and cunning of their human parent, plus the durability and raw strength of their dwarven heritage. Mules are usually the product of the slave pits. Owners recognize the mule's assets as gladiators and laborers, and so order the births of as many mules as can be managed within the ranks of their slaves. Mules are born sterile. They cannot perpetuate their kind. A fully grown mule stands 6 to 6.5 feet tall and weighs 240 to 300 pounds. They are fair-skinned, sometimes tending toward the copperish coloration. Their dwarven ancestry gives them a well-muscled frame and an incredible constitution. Mule laborers can perform heavy work for days at a time without stopping. Mules have stern facial features. They're unmistakably human in appearance, though their ears are swept back and slightly pointed. Many mules, whether male or female, have no hair or beard. Born as they are to lives of slave labor, with the taskmaster's whip taking the place of parents and family, mules are given to a gruff personality and violent reactions. Understandably, many never seek friends or companions, but live outside of their lives, live out their lives in solitude, driven by hatred and spite. Most, however, learn to trust in the slave pits, and who not to, gaining favor and reputation among the other slaves. Many slave mules have either escaped or otherwise won their freedom and now live independent lives over Athos. Of those, a large percentage have bartered their combat prowess, making their way as soldiers and guards. A few others, given to more cerebral pursuits, have turned to priestly devotions or the mental disciplines of psionics. A player character mule may become a cleric, druid, fighter, gladiator, psionicist, or thief. When created, the player must decide if his mule character will be considered a demi-human or a human character. As a human, the mule character will have unlimited advancement in any class and can become a dual-class character later in his career. As a demi-human, a mule can become multi-class character. Remember, there was a difference, I'd have to look that up, but a difference between dual-classing and multi-classing. As a demi-human, a mule can become a multi-class character in accordance with the multi-class combinations table in the next chapter. Once the decision is made, the mole character will forever be considered either a human or demi-human in all ways. A mule character adds 2 to his initial strength score and 1 to his initial constitution score. While often cunning and bright, a mule's training rarely encourages the mental disciplines, so mule characters must subtract 1 from their initial intelligence score. The rigors of their upbringing in bondage makes them sullen and difficult to befriend. Mule characters subtract 2 from their initial charisma scores. Mules are able to work longer and harder without rest than are many other races. Regardless of the preceding type of exertion, 8 hours of sleep will let a mule become fully rested, ready to begin work again. Mules are slaves, true, but when they are doing well in the arena, they are the most pampered slaves. It is expensive to generate and maintain a stable of mules, and their owners protect their large investment with special treatment and considerations. It's rare that a mule who does not work well receives particularly harsh treatment as a slave. Thus, they often don't see their slavery as all that bad a deal. Of course, when in the arena or work performance is lacking, discipline is cruelly reinstated. Like their dwarf parent, a mule who sets his mind on freedom and disruption, among other things, is rarely kept on hand. They most often are sold or traded from owner to dissatisfied owner until they are eventually relegated to harsh labor in a remote area or sent to the gladiator pits. Let's see. Half-elf, halflings, and humans only could be druids in 1E. Yeah, elf as race and class was basic and expert. The Last Phoenix says, should have called this race Chad instead. They didn't predict Chad as well as they predicted Brexit. Yeah, dual class is for humans, multi-class is for non-humans, if I remember correctly. Oh, so dual class can switch multiple times. Multi-class is at character creation only. I think I do remember that. Like that you could start off, at level 1 as a multi-class character. Yeah. Dual classes is kind of like multi-class now. Multi-class was picked at creation as like a combination of 2 or 3 classes. Hey, Toadstool Hollow. Good morning. Good to see you. Hey, I want to see what they're going to do with the Thri-Kreen as a player race. Hulking insect men Standing as tall as 7 feet at the shoulder, the Thri-Kreen are the least human of the player character races. Their survivability in the wilderness, combined with their cunning and intellect, have made the Mantis Warriors, as they are known to some races, the undisputed masters across the large tracts of Anthasian wastes. The individual Thri-Kreen is a 6-limbed creature. Oh, this table down here was Mull Exertion Table. Time before rest. Tough, sandy yellow exoskeleton. Its hind legs are the most powerful, used for walking, running, and leaping. The 4 forward climbs each have a hand with 3 fingers. Limbs have a hand with 3 fingers and an opposable thumb. A Thri-Kreen's exoskeleton is extremely hard and gives the creature a base armor class of 5. The Thri-Kreen's head has 2 large eyes, 2 antennae, and a small but powerful jaw. The jaws work from side to side and have several small extensions that grab and manipulate food while it's being eaten. The eyes are jet black and multifaceted, separated to either side of their head. The antennae are all but vestigial, serving only to help maneuver through brush and grasslands in the desert. They also serve to lessen any darkness or blindness-based penalty by 1 point. Ranged activities, like missile combat, do not gain this benefit. They have no need of sleep. They can remain active through the day and night. They make and use a variety of weapons. Chief among them are the Gethaka, a polearm of wicked blades at either end, and the Chatkacha, a crystalline throwing wedge. They also fashion many forms of clothing but never wear armor. Thri-Kreen can use most magical items such as wands, rods, staves, weapons, shields, and most miscellaneous magic. Those items, however, designed to be worn by demi-humans such as rings, girdles, armor, and cloaks, will not function for a Thri-Kreen because he simply cannot put them on. Unless otherwise stated, magic items are designed for use by demi-humans. Does it say something about role-playing? Okay, it does say something about role-playing here. A Thri-Kreen can use venomous saliva against an opponent when he reaches 5th level. Those struck by the Thri-Kreen's bite must save versus paralyzation or be paralyzed. Smaller than man-sized creatures are paralyzed for 2d10 rounds, man-sized for 2d8 rounds, and larger for 1d8 rounds. Let's see what's going on with role-playing. A Thri-Kreen's obsession is the hunt. Thri-Kreen are skilled and wise hunters, skilled enough to bring down the animals they need, wise enough to move on before they completely deplete the area of prey. From birth, all Thri-Kreen are involved in the hunt. The young are considered with preparation and preservation of concerned with the preparation and preservation of hunted food. Elders are hunters. There's no distinction between male and female Thri-Kreen in the pack society. To outsiders, Thri-Kreen sometimes seem overly preoccupied with gathering food, hunting, and maintaining stocks of travel food. Since they do not sleep, Thri-Kreen often hunt through the night, while other races they are working with are needlessly lying around. Their pack intelligence also makes them protective of their clutch mates. To a Thri-Kreen, his clutch or pack includes whoever he is with at the time of danger. It is instinctive for a Thri-Kreen to leap into battle to protect those he is with, regardless of personal dangers. As has been said, Dark Sun characters are very different from those in other AD&D games. This is reflected in the following tables for height, weight, age, and aging effects, which replace those given in the player's handbook. So we got new height, weight, age tables. Player characters on Athos fall into the same general groups found in a traditional AD&D game: warrior, wizard, priest, and rogue. Dark Sun characters can also be psionicists, as described in the Complete Psionics Handbook. There are, however, minor modifications to all classes. I tell you what, we're now on Chapter 3, Player Character Classes, so probably we'll take a look at that tomorrow. We've been going for about an hour here. Frank says, that didn't go into how mules are produced. I forget whether it's detailed, but their slave mothers are selected against their will to bear them and do not survive giving birth. Oh, well, that is pretty traumatic. That stuff of no gods on Athos is quite telling. How does the wind blow without a god or winds? It takes gods to be just some dudes. It takes gods to be just some dudes that happen to be very powerful, a person inside the world. I had a player who played a Thri-Kreen. They only talked in chirps, chitters, and head tilts, and twitching with their hands in front of them like a mantis. They loved it. That does sound like fun. Frank says, in the Thrycreen book, it says they can't make any sounds that use lips. When I played one, I tried to speak without moving my lips. Yeah, they went all in. That was when they were speaking as the Thrycreen with the players. He didn't do it when asking game stuff. Okay, well, that was fun. Everybody, if you have not watched some of the other ones or you're interested in this, this is what, was this number 4? This was our fourth dive into Dark Sun. So I guess we'll continue tomorrow by looking here with player classes. I don't know how long it'll take us to get through this book. Like I said, we don't have to look at everything, but I think starting with how player classes change would be a good thing to do. If you are not joined already, I would love to have you over in the Ravenkeep Discord server. I will post that link over here. I need to go through and I've got some things to talk about and respond to. So, Ravenkeep Discord server. And then I'm going to be posting a few shorts. I'm seeing how these shorts work. So I'm going to be posting a few shorts today on this channel. And then also going to be posting some two shorts over to the Black Cipher YouTube channel. And then I'm also going to be working here, might be working on some shorts for this channel and just see how that works, putting out some thoughts. But then might work on the Unspeakable Cults channel and trying to do some stuff over there. That way we can compare and contrast, see what kinds of things people actually like to watch while we're doing world building here on YouTube. I'm kind of got a slow start today and just kind of feeling like an easy kind of Saturday, even though there is so much work to do. I do want to organize a members only stream. I've been trying to do that, but maybe Sunday is the best days for that, for at least me. And I might end up moving the Crafter's Corner up on Sundays anyway, just so that I'm not running so late so I can get back up and do stuff in the mornings. We'll see about that. But the members only stream would be about evaluating gear for medical gear, particularly, but all kinds of gear for boar hunting. I've got a big box of gear I got to go through, and I've got to remake my trauma kit soon. So might be doing that. All right, everybody. Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It has been great. Everybody be productive, be creative, and grind on.